Hey everybody, and welcome on back to Building with Whip. Today we are starting a brand new chapter in our single player survival world, and I am so excited to be back over here in the city to finally be working on this one again. As our sun is going down, we actually recently did a giant world tour and download in the very last episode. So if you want to be getting your hands on this world and be able to see it first person, first hand, with everything as is currently, be sure to go check out the last episode. There will be a link in the description below if you would like to check that one out. But anyways, moving on into today's episode. I love our city that we have here. I love everything that we have in this environment. I think it's something that we started off very, very well, and we just need to continue it. We need to put in the time to finish this one up, get a lot of things moving forwards with it, and just make this area completely spectacular. So with that, we're going to be dedicating the next few episodes to be working on this city. A few episodes back, we came through here and created this new plan for this new region to be able to connect up the castle and that part of the city and the port and everything down there into the rest of the city that we had worked on previously. Forever, this area has been disconnected. It's never really linked up, and I want to start tackling that. I think next up for this city here is we need to start figuring out what this whole area here is looking like and what it's going to be in the end. I would love for this area to have a bit more green space than we've had in any of the other ones, and green space being these little tiny alleyways right here where we have all of this. I think it'd be cool to have small workstations, maybe some small tiny farm areas, crop farms, herb gardens, that sort of thing, and a bunch of trees crammed in here. So we have like this small central area back here that could be in between all three of these houses coming together here where they can maybe all meet up. Maybe there's a table and chairs where you can sit down out there. And I think it's going to be super fun. I think, however, what I want to do is from last time we came through here and we added a lot of these shapes and we divided them all up into different structures by the color and everything like that. But the more I've been looking at this, especially this one right up here, like this house right here is very, very small. And this one over here is very small as well. So I think what we're going to do is take a few of these designs that we had laid out and actually combine them into more larger central structures where they flow into each other a lot better. So I would like to get started with this one today and turn it into a bit of a warehouse front over here, which I think would be really cool. So I'm going to get a bit of work done on this front point. I think it's safe to say that I got pretty carried away here on the build. We're not just going to be doing the front face of this. We're actually going to be finishing this entire structure. And I thought it was really cool. The end result that we're going to see here, we're using a lot of that stone base, creating these large warehouse shaped doors almost, and then a small shop there in the center. And one thing we're actually using here is we're using smooth sandstone as a way to just make it more interesting and add another color into our city here. We're going to try and use a lot of different blocks inside of the city here that you might not necessarily see in these types of builds. It might not be the first one that you think of, and I think it'll be really fun to kind of take that challenge on and see what we can find here and see what we can discover and use a lot of weird mixed up shapes and everything like that. So the front of this one, we're going from that stone base into a lighter sandstone and then using stripped oak log up there at the top, and it's making it look pretty cool. I like the overall shape that we're able to achieve with this. It's very wonky. A lot of the roof structure you'll see here as we bring it in together is slightly angled, and then we'll have a few straight lines in there. One thing that I do want to add in afterwards is a few more chimney spots and things like that throughout here. I think it'd be better to have the roof broken up. You'll see here it's a little just kind of plain spruce everywhere. So we got to figure out a few ways to break it up moving forwards. This structure here was basically just for me to use something to get back into the city building style. I think one thing that I consistently struggle with, and one thing that I need to kind of get myself back into it, is basically like when you swap from building a village or building something, like we've been focusing on these weird other projects like the ruined castle, that has its own distinct style, where the city here already has a style that we predefined. So I need to really get myself back into it to remember what we were doing beforehand. So it took a while to get back into this one. This build probably took a lot longer than it should, but I love the end result here. It was so much fun to build this one up. Hopefully you all enjoyed this. We got plenty more of these structures coming throughout the rest of this episode. So with that, I think it's time that we get back into this one. I think it is very safe to say we got a little carried away with that build there. I was not expecting to get that whole thing finished up inside of that little time-lapse clip, but I got a little carried away there and decided to just keep going forward with it. So that was real fun to get that whole thing finished up, and I'm glad that we got that. And I think it looks really, really good in comparison to everything else we have back here. One thing I was just doing, if we can fly, is I was taking a look from all the way back here to see what it does with the scenery around the entire area. I think it does a good job of blending in. I think using that sandstone to the base of it, getting that lighter yellow color in there, works pretty well with what we have going on for like the birch and everything over there. I do want to get a bit more stronger structures going on around it, but I think like right here especially, this is really cool. I love the look of that. I think that's absolutely awesome. I think it'd be cool to come down here later on especially and do like a interior decorating of how does fWhip do interiors and how can we plan interiors out and things like that. So if y'all think that'd be kind of cool, let me know. And also we have these as kind of like, this is meant to be like a big warehousey thing of one structure in here going upwards to there as well. We've got room for a smaller shop of sorts in here, maybe with a house on top of it. And then we got room for another like a storage warehousey workshop, something or another in here with the house and whatnot. And then a small garden area here out the back. So any ideas you all have for what we should include to the interior of these structures, let me know. And I'd be happy to throw that in there as well. So we got plenty of things going on there. One thing, however, is I am basically out of stone. That was most of the stone I had left. I actually had to go farm up some more stone just from like leveling that thing out to be able to build up the rest of that. So we are more or less out of resources. So I think we're going to jump over into the mountains real fast and go through another little like time lapse, a mining time lapse or a timing mine lapse, and gather up a bunch of stone here and see if we can't get some more resources around this area. So I think we'll take the subscribe shovel that we have here, and I might need to grab a few more shulker boxes, but we can come on down here. I always like flying into this one together, but down here is where our mines are, and we got to expand these things a lot, because if we jumped right down here, we can go all the way down that guy, and we are going to get down here. Eventually, we got a good landing platform, and right now we're clearing everything else out up here. I'd say this overall was a pretty successful harvest of stone. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and almost 6 shulker boxes of stone. We got this one, a little bit of dirt and gravel in it. We got a bunch of andesite, diorite, and granite in here, and some good riches. A lot of obsidian from that lava lake that was up there though, so I think this will help us out for a good while here. The chest monsters are coming out in full force down here. This is absolute mayhem. Now I think we might need to make an actual storage area here soon, but that's something that we can tackle on another day when it actually really gets super crazy hectic, because right now I at least have sections of where things are. So if I need wood or some greenery stuff, I know I at least to go in the far left corner, and then from there, it's kind of a mess. Anyways, we got this house finished up earlier in today's episode. I did come back through here and add a bunch of flower pots with azure bluets on top of it, and I think it makes it look a heck of a lot better, and that really brought it in tie with how we have a lot of these ones over here. Everything on the front facing side and actually interior as well, I've been really big on adding plants and flowers and life and color, because I want this city to be very colorful. I don't want it to just be this gray mess of structures moving around here. So I think what we're going to do for the rest of today's episode, my goal is to finish up that one, this light blue one, and this big yellow guy right here. I think that'd be super cool to get all of those ones done. And then next episode, we can come in here and probably finish up everything on this side of the street, like facing this street side. And maybe we'll see if we can do on these. Actually, I guess we're doing all of those. So it'd just be the blue and the yellow over there. So that's going to be the plan. Let me get some materials together here outside of having some stone on me, and we'll get going on this. All right, full transparency here. It has been quite a few days since we were last recording this, but I am super ready to get back in here. A few changes have happened. It's been a few trying days, let's go with that. And I've spent a bit of time here on the world, just kind of doing my own thing and just relaxing and enjoying playing Minecraft. So I did go through here and mark out all of these different stalls and what they're going to be. So we have like a cobbler, so a shoemaker. This guy down here in the front, since he's close to the harbor, I figure it's going to be a sail maker. I know we already have one over in that area. I think it's that gray structure right there, but I want to add another one And then this guy right here, it's kind of a B-shaped building, is going to be a guild house, and we're going to have a tower sticking up out of it here. This one with all the dead coral, which we'll be building here in a second, is actually going to be an orphanage. Just as somewhere to have like all the kids in the city who don't have homes, so they can live in here. This is going to be an inn, this entire light blue structure. So the inn entrance is going to be on here. It'll have an entire second floor over here that the inn will have as well. Then the first floor on this side is just going to be a small shop for the tailor. They might live in the inn as well. We'll see on that one. Coming up here, though, we have a candle maker. We've got a dye shop, which is going to be this light blue guy right here. And this one, which I built up myself here shortly. I'm very, very happy with the result. Let's go all the way back here. It's super sweet. This is an herbalist shop. So we're going to have a small garden out back. A lot of different things going on with it. It's been really fun to build and just kind of get back here into building again. And coming into here, so we got it marked out with the herbalist stuff in here. We've got a small fireplace. Then back here is where we're going to have the garden, which is going to be real cool. To get started on this one, I think it'd be cool to take a step back here just for a second. So we can see everything right here looks pretty nice. I like what we have so far. We're using the dead coral, it's dead brain coral, the purple one down here as like a darker stone of sorts with a lighter grout color in there. So that's kind of what I'm thinking of it as. Up here is where we're going to be having a large portion of our build of where like the living space is going to be on this floor. And then you can drop down and there might be some storage area down in these lower parts. But that's pretty much it for there. I want us to come up here, have a doorway right here. This is going to be a filled in wall. Then over here, this is actually going to be a small walkway to another doorway that'll lead into this house over here. I think what I'm actually going to do here real fast though is I kind of want to bring the brain coral up one more block going all the way around so it fits a little bit better in this. Quick note for this under area, we are going to be fixing this. We're going to be completely remaking this thing. I think we might save that for a future episode because I want to do a lot of work on showing you all how we can decorate streets in these tiny areas and things like that. I think it'd be pretty cool. So we're saving that one for now. But what I want to do is basically start by coming through here and bringing up 4 high pillars of dark oak, basically stretching along this entire thing. Right here, we're going to be bringing up another one. So that's 3 and that's 4. And we can actually get rid of this lip for the roof right back here. It's okay to get rid of those. It's totally fine to get rid of a few of them. And that might be better as a full block right here. Yeah, let's just do a full block. We can just do that. That'll be totally fine. And then we go 1, 2, 3, and 4 and bring these ones up all the way around. Now I know it's going to look like we have a giant hole in the side of this house, but there is going to be a tower coming up here. We'll get to that guy later on. For now, just ignore this section. That's all we got to go with. Getting a few more of the bits and bobs in place here. We are starting to take shape of this whole thing. So all of our pillars are 4 tall right in here. I added our doorway right in there and a door over in this area so you can get into this structure. I think what'll be really nice though is we'll also have this inside passageway down here in the center. So we have this 4 wide corridor. We're going to be stacking up some blocks on this side here as well. So we can do that real fast. And it's basically just going to be facing all of these spruce logs going outwards here on the bottom. And then we're actually going to be stripping down all of the spruce. So it's going to go straight here, right across like that. And what we can do beyond that is basically just bring these going up 4 tall on the rest of this guy. With some light gray stained glass panes in there as well, it starts to look pretty good. I like the look of this one so far, and I think it's going to get the job done for what I'm going for here. Then after that, what I wanted to do was basically bring some more logs right along here and just stack up some, no, let's not go with spruce. Let's go with some dark oak. I think we got some dark oak trapdoors here. I think those will look a bit better. So we can basically just bring these guys along here all the way out front. And that adds a bit of a railing for us here as well to stop people from falling over the edge. All right, all of our walls are in place with the windows in here as well. And it's a bit flat. There's a little bit of an issue that I'm seeing back here. And I think we can pretty quickly solve that by bringing this guy basically just straight out. We can basically just come through here, pick up all of these ones that we just placed down and move them out a block. And that should actually help to make this area feel a lot more full, which will be kind of cool. Not maybe more full, but more depth to it, I guess is a good word for it. So if we do that, and then we're missing 3 of them, I think we might be using more blocks than we did originally here. I think we are. Yeah, we're using less glass. So that makes sense. But then bringing those ones in right there and just bumping that out a block right there should help to make this side feel more interesting and not so flat for at least this base structure, because we're just working with the base shapes right now. We don't have the detail in here. And that works a lot better, I think. Good news, everybody. I found out what was causing the random audio delays inside of these clips. So that is fixed now, as well as the roof is thrown on for the first floor, I guess we can call it, or I guess the second floor, the main floor. Let's go with that one instead. We got the basement, we got that floor right there, and then this one up here. I decided to break it up instead of just having it go straight up, and so we have two stairs stepping up right here. One of them's overhanging, then this is right on top of that layer down below, so we can just quickly do that going all the way around. And any of the flattened out areas where I couldn't cram a stair into there or it felt weird, I just threw a trap door. Then we're basically doing the exact same thing on this floor up here just to get ourselves started. And for this one, I want to first start out by just basically bringing these up 3 high instead of 4 high, which 4 high we had done everywhere else. And I think it'll look a little bit better here being 3 high. And what I'm actually going to do is I would like to flip these. So that gives us a 3 by 3 by 3 something area. And actually, no, we need to go that 2 over. Now that everything up there is in place as far as the walls go, we're moving back into the roofing stage of everything. Also, if this looks weird, it's because the blue concrete powder is going to go right up that side. So I want to leave that out there for now. We can easily fill that in later if this house doesn't fill in that spot. Moving on from that, however, coming up here to the top again, we are at the roofing point, which I mentioned. And what I want to do for this real fast is basically bring this whole side here being just coming up to a peak, including our pathway, and then we're gonna add another second floor on top of that one. I'm gonna finish up this build real fast and I'll come back with the final product, so see y'all in a few. And there we go, the whole tower is finished up, or the whole building I should say, and there is now a new box for a future tower that we're gonna be working on here in a second. I'm so happy with this one. I think it was really fun to build this thing up. It's really sweet. The interior is set up as far as the floors go. We still got to get some passageways up to the top. But I think it's time that we kick this off back into time-lapse mode and see if we can't finish up the last 3 houses down here. Now for the big old time lapse. The first thing I wanted to tackle here was actually going to be our bell tower. I was really struggling with trying to decide whether it was going to be a guard tower, a bell tower, or whatever it was going to be up there. And we ended up going with this design that apparently we can't see too well. But coming down here, we're building the guild hall of sorts that's going to be connected to that tower itself. I want to bring in some white terracotta in here with some dark oak, I believe that is, then spruce wood for the highlights and the roof and everything, just to add another color and another brighter structure type inside of here. You'll see a lot of the areas on the walls are still leaving out, or on the ceiling, sorry, for the roofing. I'm leaving out those stairs because that's where our tower is going to be coming up on this front one. I tried to really be smart about how we're doing a lot of these structures and making sure that we're not interrupting the sight lines too much so that the windows can at least get some light inside of them. They can hopefully see all the way down to the water, but it's not always perfect for that to happen, so I'm at least trying to get it so they can have some sort of light source coming into there so that there's a reason for the window existing, or it was just really an upset neighbor who in the end was blocked because somebody built a bigger house in front of them. I really like what we ended up doing with this one. I tried making the base of all these structures different by being heavy on certain stone types, like this one started out as just andesite that we're seeing here in front of us. This one's supposed to be our sailmaker, but I think we might need to redefine that away from being a sailmaker into something that makes a bit more sense for that smaller structure, especially because we do have a sailmaker right next door to us. Coming back here, this is kind of a back alley house. This is where our shoemaker, the cobbler, is going to be. And I really tried to just squeeze something really tiny in there and fill in the gap with a type of roofing block that we hadn't used before, so we went with the jungle. I have found yet another new fun toy to be playing with. These are what's called the Builders shaders, Builders modded shaders. You can find them if you just Google Builder modded shaders. You can find them. They're basically the most default shaders you can get for Minecraft that basically just play with the light maps, but there's no crazy god rays or anything like that. There's some cool clouds. The water is really, really cool looking. And I'm messing around with them for a little while just to see what they look like, but that time lapse was absolutely insane. We got this house structure built up here, which we're going to have to turn into, what was that, the sailmaker? We might need to open up a doorway right throughout here to make it a little bit easier for us to get into those places and see kind of what's going on in there. But overall, I'm so happy with this one. It was really fun to be building up all these different areas. Back in here, we have what's going to be the shoemaker, the cobbler. This one back here, have not fixed that up yet, but it's kind of cool because you can get up onto the roof here and do some Assassin's Creed style parkour jumping around these different places. The bell tower is perfect. I love it. What we're going to be doing in the next episode most likely is finishing up the rest of these 4 houses and working on detailing the actual city streets themselves. and just adding some more life into this area. I'm really happy with where we're at right now, but I think we could go even further with this plan of kind of everything going on. Also, I did rework the bamboo scaffolding texture to make it a bit darker than it was previously. It was feeling a little weird and too light for me. So I messed with that a bunch and fixed it up there. It's looking pretty good. And what I want to do as a last little bit of stuff is coming back through here. There's not going to be a common question of the day today, unfortunately. So we're just going to kind of call it with that one because we've done a heck of a lot of work here. There's been a lot of things going on, a lot of moving parts in this one, and I've had so much fun in today's episode. I hope y'all enjoyed this journey of building up all these different things. If you did, be sure to hit that like button down below. Be sure to subscribe if you are new, and I will catch you all on the flip side.